It's been a while, but we're finally back at the thrift store. We are here to find some ugly treasures and transform them into beautiful home decor.
That's right.
Right? I'm here with my friend Natalie.
Hi.
You all know Natalie from Design to the Nines, and we are going to have such a fun time. The problem today is that we couldn't get anybody to come with us. We don't have very many friends, so I guess it's just going to be us, right? Oh, wait a minute.
Sorry I'm late.
It's Ellie.
It's Ellie, false alarm. I rounded her up. This is Ellie, my daughter. I know you guys know Ellie June. She's gonna come join us today.
That's right.
We're gonna go inside and Ellie and Natalie are gonna find some pieces of home decor that are
super ugly.
less than
We're
desirable.
gonna find some good
I'm gonna be
ones.
mean this
I'm
time.
excited.
I say that every
I
time
will
though.
be
You say that every time. Ellie might actually
I
really
will
be mean.
She can get away with it better.
That's right. And then I'm gonna take them home, I'm gonna unbag them, and then I'm gonna flip them into something better than what we found, right?
Sounds
Okay, so let's go in
excited.
and let's shop.
good. All right, let's go.
Ellie has just moved into her new apartment with Mac. And what did you find? Look at this table. She has this really pretty patio. This might be a winner. Natalie, are you embracing the hunt?
Oh yeah, I like this for you.
Oh, a
It's
good
so
little
cute.
scarecrow, because I need one of those, right?
Yeah.
Oh, what does Ellie have? Oh, she has a cat. Oh, that looks like her cat. She has a cat named Ozzy. It looks like these were bridesmaids flowers that were no longer in need. Natalie, do you have a wedding coming up? Because if you did.
I wish. I wish I was marrying off my daughter. No, I'm just kidding. No pressure, sweetie. I love you.
That's right. But if so, guess what? Guess what, Riley? These flowers are here for you. I found the Halloween jackpot. Natalie, what did you find?
Look at this. It even
Oh
has a seat
my
on it.
gosh.
It's so cute.
That is adorable.
$9.99. I think
wouldn't
it's
even-
worth it. It's so cute.
I think it's cute. That would look so cute in your house.
Yeah.
They knew you were coming. That's why they put it out.
They put it out just for me.
Perfect. You've actually got quite a cartload. Look what I found. It's a little crown for my princess. Aww. Even though she's a big girl, she's always my princess.
That looks great on you.
This is the way to the thrift store. Ellie actually came out as the big winner because I'm going to buy her this beautiful table for her back patio, and look at how much it was. $24.99, you guys. Fantastic deal. Successful shopping trip today. Natalie, were you successful today?
I think I scored
I think you did too.
big time, but I spent a lot of money.
Well, why don't you move out of the way and let's take a look at your basket. I think something in there might be there for me. Is there anything in there for me?
Yep.
Oh, can't wait to see what it is. We are back from the thrift store. It was so much fun. I always love going with Natalie, but it was a special treat today to have my little Ellie June come with us too. I say that now, but we are going to unbag her little selection for me and you guys. I can see what it is. Are you ready? Wah, wah. She really got me the turkey. What am I gonna do with this thing, you guys? Oh, man. I guess this is payback for all the nice things that people have gotten me in the past. So we are going to turn this beautiful Thanksgiving turkey into, I don't know. I'm really gonna have to think hard about this one. But let's go. So what does one do with a giant stuffed turkey? Well, after staring at it eyeball to eyeball for a very long time, I kind of started to feel a connection, and I really didn't want to tear it apart at all. In fact, I thought it'd be really thoughtful of me to leave it intact and then eventually give it back to Ellie. Wouldn't that be a fun regift? So we are going to keep this turkey intact, but we are going to completely transform it. And I decided, you know, it's just a giant stuffed ball, and we can do something with that. So what we're gonna do is head to Hobby Lobby and look at their fabric. And while I was there, they were literally marking down all of the fabric to a clearance cost. Yes, I came on the right day, and they had so many options to choose from. So I picked a gorgeous cream fabric with these little boucle dots all over the top, and it was only $6 a yard. I got a yard and a half. I didn't need a yard and a half, but I needed a yard and a half at that price. So what I'm going to do with my fabric is I'm going to lay it out on my desk, and I'm going to cut it into a large square, large enough that when I pull up the sides, it's going to be able to encase our turkey. Now that my square is cut, I'm going to take my little stuffed turkey, plop him right in the center of the fabric, and then I'm going to get some extra polyfill and fill up the gap around the top because he's shaped like a teardrop and we want it to be shaped like a pumpkin. So I'm gonna add some extra polyfill in there, and then I'm gonna start to gather up all of the fabric all around the turkey. I pulled the fabric up on either side. I tried to do this as smoothly as possible while creating the least amount of creases. It's okay to have some. It's a pumpkin after all, and pumpkins have grooves. I pulled up all the fabric to the top, and we've got our little turkey's face sticking out the top, which I think is so cute right now. His neck is actually a great place to gather all the fabric. Then I took some thin white ribbon with gold trim on it and wrapped it tightly around the gathered fabric and tied it into a knot. Make sure that this knot is really tight. You don't want the fabric to come ungathered. We are heading into the fall and holiday season. I've got decorations out, I've got parties planned, I've got family coming in and out of the house, and with all of that happening, my floors definitely get dirty. Well, what's my solution? It's the Dreame X50 Complete, the ultimate robot vacuum and mop that's revolutionizing home cleaning. Not only is this vacuum smart, but it's an absolute game changer for busy households. Let's start off by talking about my absolute favorite part, and that's the obstacle avoidance. I've got so many things out right now. I've got hay bales, pumpkins, lanterns, all kinds of items that are down underneath my fall tree. I don't want a vacuum knocking these things over or sucking things up. Well, guess what? This obstacle avoidance is state of the art. The Dreame X50 Ultra features advanced 3D structured light and AI action that identifies up to 200 types of objects. From shoes to socks and wires, it creates a precise 3D map to dodge small hazards while getting close to larger ones. It navigates with pinpoint accuracy, even in cluttered spaces, ensuring a seamless clean every time. So now I know all of my fall decor is safe. I am not going to remove my turkey's head. We'll save that for Thanksgiving dinner. What we are gonna do is use that neck and head as a post for our stem. To create our stem, I'm going to get some brown satin ribbon. This is so pretty. And I'm going to take that ribbon, I'm going to tuck it right underneath the ribbon that has been tied at the gather. So I'm gonna tuck it underneath there, and then I'm just gonna begin to wrap that ribbon around the neck and face of our turkey. So goodbye, little turkey. We'll see you in a couple of years. Now, because this fabric gets thinner and thinner towards the end, it's a natural way to get a tapered stem. So I just kept wrapping this ribbon around the fabric until I got to the end. Then I added hot glue and pinched the ribbon together to seal it closed. And look at how fantastic the stem looks. The turkey neck and face were the perfect framework for our stem. And how pretty is this pumpkin already? I'm getting so excited. But what would take it over the top would be some leaves. While I was at Hobby Lobby, I found a mesh bag of wood leaves. They're the perfect size, and I love the variety of leaves in there. We are not going to leave these leaves plain. We are going to stain them in some antique white bear stain. And then I also am going to need paper towels and some gloves. NataLee has just come out with some nitrile gloves. We're gonna test these out today. I'm so excited to use these, and you definitely need to protect your hands while you're staining. All I did was dip the paper towel in the stain and then wipe it all over the wood leaves. I love using stain on wood because you can still see the wood grain, which is perfect for fall. We want it to be a little rustic, but the white color definitely gives it a neutral and distinct color tone. Once all of my leaves had been completely covered in the white stain, I let them dry for 4 hours. For this pumpkin, we are going to be using our largest leaves first, but we need to have an access point so we can attach them to our pumpkin. So I'm going to get out my Aleah drill and drill some holes in these leaves. I simply just drilled these small holes through the leaves, and now we have an access point and a way to hang these leaves easily on our pumpkin. Our leaves are pretty plain, and we want to add some more color to it and highlight all the ridges around the edge of the leaf. We're going to do that with a gold paint pen from the Dollar Tree. So I just traced all around the leaves with this Dollar Tree paint pen. This is a great way to bring in additional color. It also highlights all of the intricate details that are along the edges of these leaves, and I think the gold is a beautiful way to add a fancy accent. Another fancy accent that we can add to our pumpkins is some lace. While I was wandering around the fabric section at Hobby Lobby, I saw the lace, and there was one in particular that just jumped out at me, and it is this stunning tan lace with gorgeous sparkles and sequins on it. And the lace is quite large, so I purchased a half a yard of this lace. What I'm going to do with this lace is I'm going to cut it into individual appliques that I can place on my pumpkin. So all I did was get my fabric scissors out and cut them into individual pieces. The reason why I'm cutting them out into individual appliques is because if I tried to wrap the lace around the top of the pumpkin, it would bunch and pucker, but an individual piece will lay flat. I'm going to attach these lace pieces to my pumpkin with a boutonniere pin. And the reason why I'm using a boutonniere pin is because of the beautiful pearl that's on the end. It will blend in seamlessly with all the sequins and pearls that we have on our lace. So I'm just gonna poke that boutonniere pin through the lace and directly into the pumpkin. This large pumpkin is going to get 4 individual appliques. Isn't that lace pretty? It's just what this pumpkin needs to take it over the top. Well, now that our lace is in place, we are going to add our leaves to the pumpkin. So what I did was get more of that thin white ribbon. I threaded it through the leaves and then wrapped it around the stem of the pumpkin and tied it into a knot so that they hang gracefully down in the front. I stepped back and looked at it, and I decided that this pumpkin needs some vines and an additional pop of color. So we're going to be using this leaf trim that I once again purchased at Hobby Lobby. I'm going to wrap segments of this around the stem and then tie it into a knot and then let it drape. I have 4 of these little vines hanging from the stem, which adds a much needed color and texture. And finally, I have some additional leaves we're going to add. These are frosted champagne leaves. They're actually Christmas leaves, but guess what? They're gonna work in this project. I tucked these stems underneath the lace and bent them around the stem so it would stay in place. And that's it. We are done with our stuffed turkey turned pumpkin. You guys, this is amazing. I love the way that it turned out. You would never in a million years guess that inside of our beautiful pumpkin is a crazy looking stuffed turkey that we got at the thrift store. Only you and I are gonna know that, well, and Ellie, because she's the one that gifted me with this beautiful turkey. I cannot believe how beautiful this pillow is. The fabric is gorgeous. It's chic and elegant. The stem that encases the head and neck of our turkey. Oh my gosh, it sounds so funny even saying that, but the stem is just gorgeous. I love that we went with the brown satin and these pretty lace pieces. it just really elevates this pumpkin. It makes it feel romantic and gives it a vintage touch. These wood leaves, the frosted leaves, and the vines give it that realistic feeling that you need. I took a picture of this and I sent it to Ellie and she was dying. She could not believe that it looked this good. She said it looks like I purchased it at Home Goods or some other high-end home decor store. And for those of you that have said that people have been too easy on their challenge items for me, today is your day. This was definitely the most challenging item that I've ever had. And of course, it's gotta come from a child. Oh, I love it. So Ellie gave me a turkey and I gave her a table. That's kind of motherhood wrapped up into one sentence, right? But you guys, she actually took that table, put it out on her back balcony, went to Facebook Marketplace, purchased some matching chairs, went to IKEA, got a white lantern, then went to Amazon and purchased a light bulb that would go inside of the lantern. And look at how fantastic this whole setup looks. I can't tell you how proud I am that I am raising a DIYer. She is definitely coming into her own, and I love the fact that she is just beautifying her first married apartment. It just makes me so happy. So thanks, Ellie, for coming with us, even though you got me a turkey. I love spending time with you no matter what. Because I am always cleaning up things throughout my house, I do not want to clean the cleaner. And this Dreame X50 Ultra has streamlined maintenance that makes that so much easier. This self-cleaning dock auto empties the dustbin, washes the mop pads with hot water up to 80 degrees Celsius, and dries them with hot air and UV sterilization for 99.98% bacteria reduction. Another thing I don't want to clean is around the toilet in the bathroom. So this vacuum cleans around that area, and then I don't have to worry if those mop pads are sterilized cleaning the rest of my house. We can say goodbye to odors and manual scrubbing. It's hands-free with easy to access tanks and a descaling module to prevent buildup. This means less time on upkeep and more time enjoying a spotless home. If you have pets or long hair like me, then the Hyperstream Detangling Duo Brush is your new best friend. This innovative dual brush system with a unique air duct design handles up to 11.8 inches long without a single tangle. It's quiet and efficient and doubles the cleaning powers on floors and carpets. In tests, it scored perfectly on hair pickup, no jams, just hyper clean results. Now let's talk about what I'm most excited about, and it is the Pro Leap system and industry first. So I thought I'm gonna put this to the test. So I got 2 of these giant marble pieces. You guys know I love to use these all over my house. Well, I stacked 2 of these on top of each other. With the retractable robotic legs and shock absorbers, the X50 Ultra climbed these tiles. It can climb obstacles up to 6 centimeters high, like door tracks, double layer thresholds, U-shaped furniture, and of course these stacked marble tiles. And it cleans and glides quietly without damage. No more missed spots. In multi-level homes, it conquers barriers like never before. Our next thrift flip is actually an item that I chose. I saw this giant bag of assorted pumpkins and I thought, you know what? I bet you I could turn these misfit pumpkins into a cohesive group of pumpkins that would look beautiful and coordinate with the pumpkin that we just made. Now I had to take advantage of the fabric while I was at Hobby Lobby. A sale like that doesn't come along every day. So I also purchased some green velvet suede fabric. Once again, I got 1.5 yards, which is more than I needed, but come on, at that price, I had to do it. I'm going to cut my fabric into strips. So I laid it out on top of my self-healing mat. That way I have a guide so that my strips are roughly the same size. They don't need to be perfect, but they do need to be pretty cohesive. So I got my fabric scissors out and I ended up cutting 5 of these 3-inch wide strips. So now that our strips are cut, we are going to remove the stems from our pumpkins. We're going to be working with the largest of the 3 pumpkins first, so I just pulled that stem out, and then we're going to do something a little odd, and that's to get my drill with the largest drill bit, and we are going to drill a hole directly through the center of our pumpkin. We want a large hole to go all the way through, that way we have plenty of room for our fabric. I'm going to take my first strip of fabric and I'm going to push it through the hole in my pumpkin. Then I'm going to hot glue the end to the pumpkin. I'm going to pull it really tight, give it a good tug, and then wrap it around the pumpkin. Just keep wrapping and wrapping this fabric around the pumpkin. Poke it through the center, pull it tight, and wrap it around. If it gets too hard to poke it through with your finger, then just get a pencil and use the blunt side to help you to thread that fabric through the hole. I'm using fabric, but if you wanted to, a wide ribbon could be a great substitute. Once my pumpkin was covered in the fabric, I poked the fabric back through the center and added hot glue to it. That way it would stay in place. And look at how cute this little pumpkin is. Now I'm going to move on to my medium-sized pumpkin. I'm going to once again pull that stem out of the center. I'm going to grab my drill a large hole directly through the middle. Then I'm going to take my fabric, hot glue it to the bottom, and then simply wrap the fabric around the pumpkin. I'm pushing that fabric directly into the center, back out and around. Once it was completely covered in the fabric, I hot glued the end of this strip to the bottom. We want to hot glue everything to the bottom, not the top, because we don't want to see where it actually ends. We're gonna move on to my smallest pumpkin. I'm going to pull that stem out and drill a hole through the center once again. But instead of using the green fabric this time, we are going to be using the white fabric, the same fabric that we used on our turkey pumpkin. And the reason why we're doing this is because at the end, I want all of these pumpkins to be able to be displayed together and look cohesive. Plus, I think it's nice to have a little bit of color variation. So I'm just gonna repeat this process with this white fabric. I'm going to hot glue it to the pumpkin, wrap it around the pumpkin, poke it through the center, over and over and over again until I'm done wrapping the entire pumpkin in the fabric. Then I'm gonna hot glue the end to the bottom. And now I have a cohesive set of pumpkins that match beautifully together. Now what needs to match as well are the stems. So what I'm going to do is get some gold leaf rub and buff, a tissue, and those nitrile gloves of NataLee's. I'm going to add a dab of the rub and buff to the tissue and then wipe it onto the stem. I love using rub and buff because it doesn't completely cover the stem. It gives color variation. You can still see a little bit of the original color coming through, which gives it dimension. It also has an antique feel. And one of the best parts about the rub and buff is that it dries really, really quickly. It only takes about 10 minutes for it to dry to the touch. For those hard to reach spaces that we all have in our home, for instance, underneath our couch, the VersaLift navigation is genius. It retracts the DTOF sensor to drop the height to just 89 millimeters or 3.5 inches, slipping under low furniture like sofas and beds. Paired with the AI guided camera, it cleans blindly inaccessible dead zones that other vacuums skip, ensuring every inch gets covered. Complementing this is the dual arm technology. So if you want clean baseboards, if you want your kitchen cleaned underneath the cabinets, the Mop Extend Robo Swing and Auto Extending Side Brush tackles edges and low spaces under furniture and delivering thorough edge-to-edge cleaning where traditional bots fall short. The suction power on this vacuum is absolutely amazing. It has 20,000 PA suction, which is so strong. It's going to vacuum everything up, not only on the carpets, the rugs, but also on my tile. And once it gets on your carpet or rugs, it will boost that suction power to make sure that there are no crumbs left behind. Another one of my favorite features is the Ace Clean Dry Board, an evolved washboard with 20 high temp spray nozzles that thoroughly scrubs mop pads without hand intervention. It drains filtered water efficiently, dries completely to prevent moisture, and smells. Well, there you have it. This is your solution to a pristine home. The Dreame X50 comes with an amazing 5-year warranty, so you have absolutely nothing to lose. I will leave a link to this vacuum in my description box so you can head on over to Dreame, check out this vacuum, and get one for yourself. So while this rub and buff is drying, we are going to move on and put some lace on these pumpkins too. Right next to the tan lace at Hobby Lobby was this gorgeous, gorgeous white lace. This lace has more of those sequins on it, but it also has these pretty little pearls. So what I'm going to do is cut these into individual appliques as well. This time I'm going to be cutting the lace into 2 distinct shapes. I cut some larger pieces with the lace that hang down, and then I cut some smaller segments that look like a scalloped collar. I am once again going to be attaching these lace pieces to my pumpkin with the boutonniere pins. I took the largest lace segment and attached it to the largest green pumpkin. Then I arranged this scallop lace around the medium-sized pumpkin. I poked those boutonniere pins directly into the pumpkin. Because the pumpkin is foam, it's easy to poke those boutonniere pins right into the pumpkin. We don't want to add the white lace to the white pumpkin, otherwise it will just disappear. And I had a little bit of that tan lace left over. So what I'm going to do with that is cut it into some pretty little shapes, and then I'm going to once again attach it to the pumpkin with the boutonniere pins. Now we also need some leaves on these pumpkins, and you saw earlier that I stained a bunch of small leaves as well. What we're going to do with these leaves is once again outline them in that Dollar Tree gold paint pen. I'm going to trace around the edge of each one of these small wood leaves. This detail makes a huge difference in the overall look of these leaves. It makes them look much more custom, but it also adds a metallic, which we need. We are now going to replace those stems back onto our pumpkin. So I added hot glue to the top of the pumpkin, poked this stem into the hot glue. Then I took my leaves and threaded them onto some more of that thin white ribbon. I wrapped the ribbon around the stem and tied it into a knot so that my leaves can hang beautifully from the stem. I repeated this process on all 3 of my pumpkins. I added hot glue to the pumpkin, poked the stem right back into the original place where I pulled it out, wrapped the ribbon around the stem, tied it into a knot so that the leaves can hang down in the front. And just like that, we have turned 3 random misfit pumpkins into 3 high-end pumpkins that coordinate together like a set. Look at how beautiful these pumpkins look. They literally started out in a pumpkin grab bag, all different colors and shapes. I loved the technique we used to add the fabric to this, drilling the hole through the center and then pulling that fabric through the middle and wrapping it around it. That was such an easy way to transform these pumpkins, and it looks so professional doing it that way. The lace on these pumpkins is really what takes it over the top for me. It's just stunning. I love the sequins and the pearls, and our little boutonniere pins just blend in seamlessly with the lace. The little leaves are too cute as well. They give the realism that we need on our pumpkin decor. If you have pumpkins that don't coordinate together, just know that you can make them a set very easily and affordably. Now it's time to see the mystery item that Natalie selected for me. I know it's not a turkey, so already we're ahead. All right, let's see, what do we have here? Oh, ooh, that's really pretty. I like this shape, and I do love me a ginger jar, so I think that we can do some magic with this beautiful thing. It's got some really pretty ridges along the edge. I am excited for this one, so let's get started. Thank heavens Natalie was nice to me. I don't think I could have taken another ultra challenging item. Well, let's take a closer look at this beautiful container. It's a great size and I love the detail around the outside, but what's not working for me is that color tone. It's too vibrant and has too many colors, but as we all know, that's an easy fix. We are going to paint it in this white gloss Rust-Oleum spray paint. So I took it outside and I made sure that the container was completely coated in the spray paint. Once it was, I moved on to the lid. I made sure that the lid was covered in the spray paint. We want a neutral backdrop for the changes that we are making ahead. Once the container lid was completely covered in the spray paint, I let it dry for 1 hour. And those changes are going to start off with a gorgeous jacquard napkin. I purchased a set a couple of years ago at Home Goods. And what I love about these napkins is the gold tone, but also that design. We are going to use the lace that we've used previously as inspiration, and I think that that design on the napkin looks just like lace. The first thing that we need to do is remove the 2-ply portion of this napkin. So I just peeled it away from the back, and next I'm going to cut out the individual pieces that I want on my container. I needed to decide which shape I wanted to cut out, so I went with a design that was similar to the lace. I'm going to leave the segments attached to each other. I've got 3 jacquard sections that are going to be attached to each other. I'm going to cut out 4 of these 3-sectioned napkin pieces. We're going to add these napkin segments to the center of our container. We're going to do that with a paintbrush and some Mod Podge. I'm going to paint the Mod Podge onto the container, and then I'm going to press my napkin gently into the Mod Podge with the paintbrush. I don't want to use my hands because the napkin is very delicate. Can you see how thin this is? So if it gets wet, it's going to be even more delicate and even harder to work with. That's why I'm using the paintbrush to press it to the container. Once I was finished adding my first segment of napkin to the container, I continued on around the entire circumference of the container. I'm arranging these napkin segments right up next to each other. I don't want to cover the entire container in the Mod Podge, and that's another reason why I'm using the paintbrush. I just want the Mod Podge to go underneath the napkin segments. The entire container does not need to be covered in the Mod Podge. Once I got back to the beginning, I had a little teeny tiny gap, so I cut a small segment from the napkin and added that into the center to close the gap. After everything had been Mod Podged in place, I let it dry for an hour. The reason why I waited an hour is because I wanted that Mod Podge to dry just a little bit and give our napkins a chance to firm up. Because if we added the Mod Podge over the top when it was wet, there is a high likelihood that it would tear. Once I painted on a top layer of the Mod Podge all over the napkins, I let it dry for 1 hour. While the top layer of Mod Podge is drying, we are going to add a detail to the lid, and it's this white and gold cream ribbon. I've had this in my stash for a while, but I'm pretty sure that I got it at the Dollar Tree. And what I'm going to do is get some hot glue. I added a dab of the hot glue to the finial on the lid and then press the ribbon into the hot glue. I wrapped the ribbon around the finial, cut the ribbon, I added a little bit more of hot glue and then pressed the ribbon into the hot glue. This small segment of ribbon makes a huge difference in the lid. And now I can just replace that lid right onto the top of our container, and check it out, you guys. Look at how fabulous this gorgeous container looks now. Started out pretty rough, but I think painting it white and then adding this beautiful napkin detail around the center just makes it look high-end and expensive. And of course it coordinates with all of the lace that we have on our pumpkins. That was the theme for the day, was those beautiful lace pieces. But we did need something streamlined on this container, and that is the ribbon at the top. I love the stripes on there. It's a great geometric contrast. And this strip in the center was all this container needed. We didn't want to put too much on it. We really wanted this napkin to be the focal point. This was an easy way to flip a thrifted container, and you can find containers like this all the time, very affordably at your thrift store. So thank you, NataLee, for challenging me to this item. I really hope you like the way that it turned out. I love the way that each one of our thrifted items were transformed today. From our turkey turned pumpkin pillow to our random assortment of pumpkins that now are a cohesive set, and then of course our container that fits in beautifully with all the other items that we were able to transform. I would be proud to display any and all of these items in my house during this beautiful fall season. which proves that you can live beautifully. You can do it affordably, and you can do it with items that you buy at the thrift store and Transform. Aren't friends and family the best? I could spend all day shopping with NataLee, and it was such a joy to have Ellie June join us on this episode as well. She was a good sport. And even though she gave me a turkey, I still love her all the same. All right, well, now that you're done watching my video, head on over to NataLee's channel and see what she made with her thrifted items. And then also you need to find out who won the 3-minute challenge. We'll see. I will leave a link to NataLee's video in my description box. Well, I hope you got some inspiration or some ideas today, and make sure you're subscribed because I have a whole bunch more fall and seasonal videos coming up that I know that you will not want to miss. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. Thank you so much for watching.